they're still working to make sure that it gets completely out. Currently, we don't thankfully have any injuries to report. It doesn't look like anybody was in there. They've sent a drone in, and so far it looks like we're in good shape. We can't know for 100% sure until we can actually get in there and inspect those cars, but right now that's what it looks like. And what we're thinking at the moment, and actually this has just been decided, so I won't even say what we're thinking at the moment. The airport will reopen at 5 p.m. So if you have a flight, it's probably still a good idea to contact your airline to find out if things are on time. You can rebook obviously through your airline as well. You won't be able to use the hourly or the daily garage tonight, okay? Hourly is impacted, but daily they just want to make sure that they can still, maintain the area and make sure that they can get in and out and do the things they need to do to make sure everything is structurally secure. I believe that is the high level stuff. Right now it looks like if you are going to be flying in or out, you can get both incoming and outgoing flights after 5 o'clock. But again, check with your airline on that one. And I'll let the experts take over the rest. And if you have any questions for me when we're done, I'll be happy to answer. Yes. Okay.
You said 50 as in 50 or 15 as in
50. 50.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, good afternoon. When we got this call just a little after 12, we had reports of smoke banked down to the floor, which we've seen in video. Our firefighters went in and started getting those folks that were in the garage out of that condition, and then begin to actively fight the fire that you can see from pretty much all over town. They have got most of that fire is knocked down, but obviously we have to be able to get inside of those vehicles, under the hood, inside the compartment space to fully extinguish it. Because there was a partial collapse on the second and third floors, and then a secondary collapse about 30 minutes later, we are not putting firefighters in there. We're using drones to look for, anybody that could be in there. Those drones have not, as the mayor said, have not found anything yet, but we won't know 100% until we can get in there and physically verify that. There are engineers on scene. We have an engineer on scene. The airport has an engineering team on scene that are assessing what we're going to need to do to be able to put in there. This is going to be a long process. Obviously similar to what we dealt with the St. Vincent's parking garage. It's going to be a very similar scenario. There are going to be cars in both that daily and hourly lot that are going to be inside there for a while. They're not going to be able to be accessed. This was a second alarm for JFRD, and the last thing I have is we talked with the airport, and that, I know this question is going to come up. That was last inspected. That garage was last inspected in October of 2024. So within the last 6 or 8 months, it's been inspected. With that, yeah.
As far as any rental vehicles, we have people we talked to today that have rental vehicles that they wanted to go either drop off or pick up. But that's all a part of that same structure. So what's
it is, and we actually just met about this just a few minutes ago, and the airport is ready to address that. I think there's still some plans that are being worked on how that, and the messaging that's going to go with that, and tell people where to go. But the airport will address that when they come up.
And Chief, any chance? So we know, for instance, there's been parking issues at this airport for a while now. I mean, how long do you think this process is going to take until this garage is back up in operation?
I don't know. Obviously, with the collapse, it's going to be a little while, but obviously we have to let the engineers do their assessment, and then they'll give the airport and their team some ideas of what needs to happen, and then they can figure out how long it is from there. But I would not expect it to be a short period of time.
And how will people be notified of their cars that's trapped inside there right now, if it's damaged or undamaged?
We're not prepared to do that right now because we have not been able to get inside and do an actual assessment of those vehicles. What we do know is that there's probably, and this is a rough guess, about 50 vehicles that were burnt. But we don't know that exact number until we can get people in there and actually look at them. Because some of them are just going to have smoke damage right on the outside that can wash off, and then some of them are actually going to have fire damage.
And is it possible someone's trapped inside there right now?
We don't think so, but you can't say for sure until you can physically get inside each one of those cars and check. But I don't think so.
How did the fire start? Does anyone know with that initial vehicle what may have happened?
The airport has video of it, and we've seen the video. And we know it started with one individual vehicle that caught on fire, but we don't know any details about that vehicle What kind of vehicle it was, whether it was an electric vehicle, a gas-powered vehicle, or what, we don't know that from the video. We can just see the vehicle that started it.
And can you reiterate the structure again that was damaged in the garage? You said that partial collapse with the second floor?
Second and third floor.
Second and third floor. And the fire caused that is what we're determining?
Yeah, the heat from the fire causes the structural damage that allows those T-beams to collapse.
So then these vehicles could potentially be in there during this investigation would probably leaks.
I don't want to give a number because, again, we have to wait on the engineers to give us that information, and we just don't have it available right now.
And the people who's on the flights right now waiting to be boarded from the flight, is their cars trapped there in the garage?
I don't know where those people parked. You know, obviously, probably I would say some, but I don't know.
Do we know that they're deboarding the plane right now?
That would be an airport answer.
So they are?
No, that would be. I'd have to.
No, they're not.
They're not open yet.
Well, you had
Any more questions for me?
We can come back.
Go ahead.
Michael Stewart, Jacksonville Aviation Authority. Any updates? The mayor mentioned the airport will be opening at 5 o'clock, but obviously flights have been impacted. So it is important that if you're coming here to pick somebody up at the airport, or if you're traveling out of JAX, that you check with your airlines, because they're doing the rescheduling of any flights that were canceled or major delays.
How many flights do you think were canceled today as a result?
I don't have that number, but somebody will be getting it to me, and we'll have that answer for you.
Any idea about the number of passengers?
If I knew the number of flights, I could tell you. We'll work on that.
Who should people contact if their car is stuck in the garage?
We'll have to work through that. Our website will probably be able to handle that question, but between that and the rental car question that was asked a little bit earlier, we are working through that issue in terms of how we're going to handle rental car returns.
Let me ask you this, what does this mean for parking long term?
Well, midterm, it means that we have less parking spaces to provide. And we suggest that travelers coming to the airport that are catching flights either use Uber or Lyft, or some of the off-airport parking options that are available.
How many less parking spots?
We're probably close a little over 2,000.
2,000 parking spots less now as a result.
Well, right now, because we have both garages closed. The hourly garage, which is the closest to the terminal, has a little over 1,200 spaces, and that's going to be closed indefinitely until we can address those issues.
So that's about over 3,000.
No, for the two of them, it's over. For the
Yes.
two garages,
Yes.
is a little over, correct,
Yes,
3,000.
over 3,000
Yeah.
parking spots were down. Okay.
What kind of relief is there for people who are waiting to have a cell phone on to get out to eat? I know it's in the buses.
We're providing all options available to us to get people where they need to get to, whether it's their car, off airport, or to a point where they can be picked up by someone who's coming to pick them up, or the TNCs, the Lyfts and the Ubers.
The cooling buses are out there as well.
Oh yes, and these are set up as cooling buses so people can go take a break. I understand it's about 94 out here.
So they'll be here until the airport opens then, these buses?
Yes.
And I have a question real quick. Will this fire affect you guys' garage expansion plan and project you guys have in place in any way?
Not the existing construction, but obviously we'll have to address what the repairs will be required for the hourly garage.
I do want to commend you, sir, about the
Explain which section it was specifically that caught fire to give the viewer a better understanding.
It was, I don't know if it was second or third floor. What specifically, where was the car fire?
I believe it was on the second floor of the hourly garage.
Second floor of the hourly garage, which obviously affected
So it's
everything
from
about.
second and traveled to the third as well?
Yes.
Okay. And is this on the east or western portion of
It
that
is the
structure?
it is the section closest to the terminal.
I've actually have a question for the fire chief.
Go ahead, that's fine.
Chief, can you tell us a little bit more about the firefighting operations? How many crews responded? What did the process look like? And also, I'm curious about how quickly do you think the fire spread? From someone told me it was almost like dominoes.
Well, that's how, obviously that's how it works. As that fire starts to build in that car, the heat radiates to the cars beside them, and then they ignite it and they ignite it. And the more that fire intensifies, the quicker it spreads. But we had 7 engines on scene, 3 crash trucks, 5 ladders, 4 rescues, 3 squads, and 3 tankers. Now those crash trucks that we're talking about are normally used on the airfield. But they were brought over because they have the ability, they have foam in their tanks, and they could spray that foam in there, which would help us suppress the fire a little bit quicker.
Those are normally used for like plane crashes.
They are,
right?
yep.
Okay. Is that part of the reason why the delay as well?
Well, that put the airport out of, they couldn't operate the airport while those ARF units are off the airfield.
And do you know if people will be able to pick up arriving travelers at the terminals now?
Beginning at 5 o'clock.
Beginning at 5 o'clock.
I had a question for the airport. For any of the flights that were diverted, let's say to Orlando or to Savannah, will those planes be able to now come back here to finish their original flight, or it's kind of a start over?
That's a decision that will be made by the airlines. It could be anywhere from providing transportation to their final destination or the flight being rescheduled, but that's all decided by the airlines
And then
once we open.
Would the airline likely then provide like hotel, for instance? I know some people talking here are from California and they're trying to get back.
That's a
not
decision.
nice drive.
Yes, that's a decision that will be made by the airlines.
Can you just clarify for the people in this lot, what is their options right now to get out of this lot? How should they leave? How can they leave? What should they do right now?
Depending on where they're going, back to their hotel or something like that, that detail is still being worked.
And just to re-clarify, do you mind re-clarifying which floor the fire started on for us?
Second floor?
It was second floor.
Will there be another update tonight?
Not a planned conference as of right now.
Thank y'all very much. I'll be right there. With the mayor and your chief. Sorry, I didn't mean to pull him away. Just over to talk to him.
Yeah, let's talk.
Talking what?
Are you doing it?